Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about eyeshadow palettes that I want to buy, but I'm not going to, and why. Okay, first of all, before I begin with this topic, are you aware that the average eyeshadow palette expiration date is only 1 year? That's a very short amount of time. It's somewhat controversial of a number because I think that most people feel like that's a gross exaggeration of how long you can actually keep something. But then again, if the manufacturer says that it's 1 year, then maybe we should listen to them. Do you really want to risk like an eye infection or something bad happening because you didn't do what they said? I mean, I wash my brushes every single day. Most people do not. When I stick an eyeshadow brush in a palette, I know that it hasn't been used previously. I mean, what are they basing this information on? Are they basing it on the assumption that people don't clean their brushes every day? I mean, we really don't know. I wanted to show you this. I just picked up a palette at random. This is the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 palette by Morphe. On the back, have you ever noticed this little symbol? Okay, what that is, yeah, it's just too small for the camera to be able to focus on it. It's a picture of a container, and then in the container at the bottom it says 12M. That means 12 months, so 1 year. So from the time that I open this and start using it, it's supposed to be thrown out after a year. I have a large makeup collection, and so if I throw everything away that I've only had for a year, that's a lot of waste. And I never used to go by those dates, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, is it really worth it? So the reason why I'm bringing all this up is the very first thing on my list of things that I want but I'm not going to buy, and why, is something that I already had, and I threw it out because it expired, and that is the Morphe James Charles palette. I remember how excited I was to get that and how hard it was to get. I missed like the first stock. It was gone from all the stores, and I was going nuts trying to find this at Ulta stores. And eventually I did get it. I think I had to wait for the second batch of product to come in, though. I don't think I got it within the first batch because it sold out like in minutes. But I remember how excited I was to get that palette and how much I liked like the aesthetic of it and the color selection and the layout, and watching James' video where he introduced the palette and told you all about it and how excited he was. His excitement and enthusiasm was contagious, and it made you want it even more. And by the way, speaking of James Charles, I just read the other day that he is developing a makeup line. So I can't wait to see what he does, because I feel like based on that palette that he made with Morphe, seeing as how I enjoyed that so much, I think that his line could be potentially even better, because when you are doing a collab with a makeup brand, you only have so much creative control. The brand has the final say in everything. But if he's making his own makeup line, I don't know. I have a feeling it could be really good. But we'll see, I guess. But yeah, I miss owning that palette so much, but I'm not going to buy it because I've had it before already, and there are so many things coming out constantly that it doesn't make sense to me to go back and buy something that I've already owned before. It would be like taking a step backwards. I would rather just go forward and when I make purchases buy new things that I haven't had before. But I do really miss that palette and have contemplated repurchasing it a few times. There's been palettes in the past that I've thought about that too, but I don't, to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever repurchased a palette. Actually, that's not true. I repurchased the Maybelline City Mini palette in Matte About Town, I think it's called. It's got the word matte in it, M-A-T-T-E. But yeah, I did repurchase that. But I guess because it's so small and portable, that's why it didn't faze me. And I've also repurchased single eyeshadows by brands. But as far as like a big giant palette, no, I don't think I've ever repurchased a big giant palette. But I did really enjoy that Morphe James Charles palette. Okay, so that's the first thing I have on my list. The second thing that I have on my list, I didn't put a picture up here of the James Charles palette because I think everybody knows what that looks like. But for this one that I'm going to talk about, I am going to put a picture. And that is the new Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. And I don't know if you guys have seen this yet. You may have even purchased it. But I saw a picture of it and I thought, ooh, that's so pretty. The packaging and the colors on the inside. The texture of the shadows is supposed to be like some sort of hybrid formula, which I'm already becoming more and more familiar with because a lot of brands are starting to do that. My Kaleidoscope palette that I bought from Profusion has some hybrid shadows in it. And at first I didn't really know what to think about that, but it is kind of fun having multiple textures in one palette. I just get concerned about the powder from other shadows getting into that hybrid formula because it's like a more wet formula. But anyways, I had the opportunity to see this palette in person the other day at Ulta, and oh my God, if you think it's pretty when you look at the picture on your computer, it is even more gorgeous in person. But I have not bought a palette from Urban Decay in a long, long time. I'm trying to think of the last palette I owned by them. I think it was the Naked 3 palette. I don't think I bought anything else after that. Or it could have been one of those little mini ones, the Naked Basics. I had 1 and 2. So I had the first 3 Naked palettes and I had the Naked Basics 1 and 2. But after that, I didn't buy anything else from them. I don't think. Not that I can recall anyway. So it's been a long, long time since anything by Urban Decay has tempted me. And the reason for that is twofold. Their palettes are very expensive. And I feel like there are brands whose formula is just as good, but at a cheaper price point. And also, their products are not consistent. I have had Urban Decay eyeshadows that were amazing, like A++ on the formula. But then sometimes I've had some that were not very good at all. So I don't know, you never know what you're going to get. And when you buy a palette, now you might have some shadows that are really great and then some that are awful. And for that price point, I just don't want to take that chance. Now the reviews on this palette are very mixed. I've read some really bad reviews. I've seen some videos on YouTube that were less than flattering. But then I've had other people wear that palette in a video. So that wasn't like the dedicated video they weren't doing a video about the palette. They just happened to be wearing the palette in the video, and the look that they did was beautiful. And I've seen this on more than one occasion. So I don't really know what to think, because the reviews and the impressions seem to be all over the place. But it's still an Urban Decay palette, bottom line. And even though it is gorgeous packaging and I do really like the color scheme in there, I just don't want to spend that much for one palette anymore. I seem to have developed this idea somewhere along the line that all the palettes that I buy, all the palettes I have bought in the last month or two have all been less than $20. And I've gotten some wonderful palettes that I am crazy about. So I just don't feel like it's necessary to spend $50 on a palette anymore. And so if I don't want to spend 50 some odd dollars, what is this palette? Okay, I've got written down on my paper $45.90, but aren't Urban Decay palettes $50 plus? I don't know why I've got it written down as being $45.90. But anyways, yeah, the last expensive palettes I think I bought were my Jeffree Star ones, and I do like them. They are very good quality. I like the color schemes, but that's a lot of money for one palette. I think that it's just wasteful. I don't know. So that was the second thing I had written down. And then the third palette I have written down is Colourpop Mulan. By the way, if you have Disney Plus, you can get like premiere access to that live action Mulan movie, and you can watch it now if you're willing to pay, I forget what it is, it's like $10 or something to be able to watch it. Or if you don't want premiere access, then you can just wait, and it's going to be on Disney Plus the first, I think it's the first week of December. But I'm dying to see that movie. I just have a feeling that it's going to be really, really good. So anyways, the Colourpop Mulan palette, that palette just screams fall, doesn't it? I'm going to put a picture up here. That palette just screams fall. I mean, it's got golds and reds and greens and browns, and to me that is fall in a palette. Some of those shades look really chunky though with the glitter, which I don't like. If I'm gonna wear something that has glitter or shimmer in it, I want it to be finely milled. I don't like chunky glitter. But yeah, it's actually, the price just came down on that. It was originally $22 and now it's on sale on Colourpop's website for $16. So that makes it even more tempting. But I have a lot of these colors already in other palettes, and so I don't know, I just think I want it because of the packaging, which is stupid. So yeah, that's a palette that I really like, but I'm not going to get it. And then let's see. Oh, I had one more thing written down here, and that is the Urban Decay. Here we go with Urban Decay again. The Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. When that came out, I wasn't into red eyeshadows as much as I am right now. I have to stop myself from wearing like red eyeshadows every single day now that fall is here, because my favorite eyeshadow color for fall is red, and all variations of red. Red, burgundy, berries, anything like that. I just love it. And so recently I've bought a bunch of palettes that would fall into that category, but I always wanted that Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. But again, you know, it's Urban Decay, it's expensive. I have other palettes with all these colors, so I don't need it, but it really is pretty. And you know how Urban Decay is, it seems like now everything used to be permanent, But now they just keep discontinuing things left and right, which I understand because most people are not going to repurchase things. They just want whatever is new. And same thing goes for the Urban Decay Naked Violet palette too. Was that the name of it? Was it Naked Violet? I'm pretty sure. Because I really love purple eyeshadows too. Red and purple, two of my favorite shades. I like green too though. Well, anyways, I think you get my point. So instead of just saying the same thing all over again about Urban Decay that I already said, but I really, if I was going to buy palettes and none of those other things mattered, those are the ones that I would bought. But instead, I'm buying, you know, e.l.f. and Colourpop and BH Cosmetics and Profusion. And did I leave anybody out? No, I don't think I did. Oh, Juvia's Place. Juvia's Place. So yeah. So that's it for today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for watching.